the little suckers that are very near. If you plant this tree and it begins to trash trunk up a distance, let it go ahead and trash trunk. It's okay.
Let it do what?
Trash, it's called trash trunking.
Trash trunk, okay.
Little shoots will go from here, but all the shoots that are down at the bottom, you can remove and, as I said, use for tea. And we'll talk about all the different products that you can get from an olive tree in just a minute. Any other questions about planting? Oh, when you do begin to prune, what you want to do is look at a tree, and if you have one limb crossing another limb, make a choice. One of them has to go. If you have any dead wood on the tree, you need to get it off. And I say that, and my orchard is full of that, but I've got 10,000 trees to prune, so that's a lot of pruning to be done. But be real diligent about keeping the dead growth off of the tree. If it gets to the point where it is so bushy that light is not getting into the tree at all, and you're worried about not having the production that you want to have, then what you do is open it up. And let's see if I've got a photograph of that. This shows how they're opening up the center of the tree. And the tree's not going to look as pretty after that, but not to worry, it will come back. And I'll just pass this around for you to look at. That's opening up the center of it. And so it's really very much like a pear tree or an apple tree or a peach tree. You know, you do want to have that center pretty open. Once again, we're discovering now that we do have alternate bearing in the trees. And one of the ways that you can prevent that, and I'm still learning myself, and once I've learned, I'll be happy to teach everyone. You need to prune off some of those branches that have fruit on them. You just need to take them off, so that what you have, and that's going to be a very hard thing to do, so that what you have, in fact, I'll probably have to be pushed out there to do that. Have somebody stand over me telling me, go ahead, go ahead. What that will do is make the production so that it is moderate that year, but it will then be moderate the next year. And one of the guys that I talked to in California, Vito, repeatedly said that he decided a long time ago that he would have moderate production across the board. So he always prunes when he sees that he's going to have what he considers too heavy production on a tree. Then he takes part of the branches off so that he will have a moderate production. I don't think that that's going to be a major problem until the trees are probably about the age that our trees are, 9 to 10 years old. Then you may need to be concerned about that. Let's talk a little bit about, I said that a tree normally produces 35 to 45 pounds of olives a year. 10 pounds, it takes 10 pounds of olives to make olive oil. So you can see why the olive oil gets to be rather expensive, because it takes a lot of olives to produce 1 little quart of olive oil. Last year, we harvested our orchard and Jim Marmion's orchard by hand. And we found that the price that we had to add to the pound of olives was $1.65 hand harvesting. So once again, the more superior olive oil is produced when you do hand harvest, but it also adds to the expense of the olive oil. So let's talk a little bit, unless you have any more questions about taking care of your trees.
You take volunteers for harvesting?
I do. I haven't quite figured out the logistics of that. I think that I lasted about 3 hours. It's hard work. I tell you what I would love to have is volunteers for sorting. Because when you bring the olives in, you've got to do something with them right away, within 3 days. And we pickle olives as well as make oil. And so you have to pick the absolutely most perfect olive. And so that takes somebody sitting there and sliding through the olives really fast. And so I love to have people come out and sort. And you're sitting in air conditioning, and you're getting all kinds of good food, and any other way I can bribe you. Yes.
Pruning, is there any time of the year that you shouldn't prune?
You really probably don't want to prune just before winter, because it really pushes the tree into putting on new growth, and that growth, if we do have a really bad cold spell, that growth will be out. So wait until spring to do your pruning. Yes?
If we have planted olive trees in amended soils, nice rich soil that you prepare so carefully, would it be beneficial just to cover the top with decomposed granite or something more akin to what you usually
Yeah, I think that would be good, or lava rock or something like that.
But you wouldn't have to dig out most of the
No, I wouldn't
soil.
worry about it. I think that it's going to reach out to soil that hasn't been amended. It's going to be okay. And that will also wear itself out after a time, because you don't have to keep on adding it. Yes?
What about deer and rabbits? And because I planted 3 little olive trees out near Stonewall where all the fruit trees grow at our place. And I think it was the rabbit. I don't know. I didn't see them. But something went in there and really nibbled on them at the base and the leaves.
Yeah.
What about critters? They like them.
They do. They're listed as deer resistant, and I just laugh my head off, you know? They are not.
So do you have
You need
deer-proof
to
fencing
put
put up
a-
around your orchards?
I have around my orchard, but you can put a canal do it.
Okay, and then do you need to wrap the trunk with force or anything when you plant them?
No,
Okay.
no, you don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, just put that little cage around, and it'll be okay.
Okay.
Deer eat them?
They will eat the leaves. If they're hungry enough, they will eat almost anything. I think they still leave rosemary alone, but, yeah, everything. The other critters that we have to worry about out in our sandy soil are leafcutter ants. And so we have a grand experiment going with that right now. I was reading that they don't like lavender. And so what we've done is planted lavender in those areas where they keep hitting the trees repeatedly. And we did find that 2 little lavender plants, mind you, we've planted already 900 of them. 2 little lavender plants have been chewed, but they did not take the leaves anyplace, so it means that they tried it and they said, this is not our food. And they have left the olive trees alone since we planted the lavender. So we'll see. It's early days in the experiment yet. Yes?
Question, other than drainage, olive trees and containers for ornamentation.
Oh, okay, that's a good question. And they will last for a while. Get the biggest container that you can get. And they'll last for a while that way, but do keep in mind that the roots like to grow on the canopy. So I think what you'll have to do at a certain stage is pull the tree out and prune the roots a little bit, and then prune the top of the tree a little bit accordingly. And then it should grow in the container just fine. They do all over Italy, they do all over California. But I'm sure that what they're doing is treating them more like a topiary or something, where they prune those roots and then prune the tops. But that's after a few years. And even the tiny little trees, if you'll go ahead and put it in a great big pot, I think they'll do better. It's just their growing characteristic, the way they like things. Let's talk a little bit about all the products that you can make from olive oil and from the wood and from the leaves and from the wood. Well, the wood is spectacular. I didn't bring any for you to see today, but I think most of you have probably seen olive wood, and it is absolutely gorgeous. The gray